Hello again and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the Breaking AIDS Ride 2021 closing ceremony. First, we'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties that we had earlier during the virtual opening ceremony. All the exclusive virtual rider content can now be viewed via the Breaking AIDS Ride family Facebook page. If you were out riding along with us today, thank you. We hope you had a great day. Shortly, we'll be closing out our day in total Breaking AIDS Ride style, with Fogle Azul playing the drums as riders ride at General Grant National Memorial. Soon, you'll hear from Housing Works CEO Charles King, Ride Director Eric Epstein, and a few other amazing speakers. What an impactful and powerful day, all to support Housing Works. Congrats to you and all of your efforts this year. You've made such a difference in the future of the ride and the support we can give Housing Works initiatives. If you're watching live, you can go ahead and head right over to www.breakingaidsride.org/donate to help support some of our riders and crew that are fundraising for Housing Works today. Donate if you can. We're grateful for anything that you can give. As we did in the opening ceremony, I'm going to pop up a closing slide. However, I believe Fogle Azul is getting ready to cheer in our riders. But before I turn it over to the folks at Grant's Tomb, I want to thank you all for joining me today on this journey. It feels so good to be back. Great work today. And hey, maybe I'll see you again next year. Rise up, ride on. Bye, everyone.
I think I'm.
I just said.
I'm gonna probably have to back a little bit so they can make a space. Because when they split us.
Can you back up? What are you do? Find like 2 or 3 rows. Just like back up. It should be like 5 or 6 pieces of concrete squares from like here.
Can you space it out? Everybody be careful with the screen that you don't trip where it is. What's happening with you?
Good evening and welcome to the closing ceremony for Breaking Age Ride benefiting Housing Works. And a big welcome to our virtual riders who are watching at home. Thank you for coming out to celebrate an incredible group of people who have made the journey from upstate to fight homelessness and AIDS in New York. They're on their way, and they'll be here soon. But first, to get you in the mood, I'm pleased to introduce Fogo Azul NYC. For years, women danced and the men band drums. Fogo Azul NYC breaks this stereotype and strives to make drumming accessible to all women, believing music and rhythm is in us all. They bring activism to entertainment. For their 4th year at our closing ceremony, please welcome Fogo Azul NYC. So, can we talk about your friends for a minute? You know, before they get here, just you and me and Ulysses in there. So your friends, they went upstate just so they could ride their bikes back into the city. Many of them had never done anything like this before. They were about to ride 80 miles today. 80 miles on a bicycle. All for one reason: to support people living with HIV, people who Housing Work serves here in Harlem and all around New York, and to help us end the AIDS epidemic in New York once and for all. So as Fogo Azul parts the waters to make room for our riders, I want to say to you that nothing was going to stop them from this moment. So please direct your attention up the Esplanade and welcome home your friends, your loved ones, the riders of Breaking AIDS Ride. Welcome home, riders! You are a beautiful sight. You made it. Riders, you have done something incredible. But you didn't do it alone. Along the way, there were people filling in water bottles. They pumped up your tires and your spirits. They kept you safe. They dressed up like sailors, and they dressed up like cowgirls. Whatever it took to keep you moving. They cheered and cheered and cheered some more. Now it's time to cheer for them. So give it up for the Breaking Aid Drive volunteer crew. Riders and crew, you did it. With a little help from the 65 women of Fogo Azul. Let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of what you've accomplished. Your fundraising paid for advocacy that created the plan to end the AIDS epidemic in New York State. Who would have imagined that 30 years ago? But that's just 1/3 of the story. With comprehensive medical clinics, with social workers, with job training, and with residential facilities, Housing Works with Bailey House fights the AIDS crisis day in and day out. And with entrepreneurial businesses, like the Housing Works thrift stores and the Bookstore Cafe, Housing Works fights AIDS and saves lives every day. None of this comes cheap. And that's where these incredible riders come in. Each of them has raised $2,000 or more to participate in Breaking AIDS Drive. The truth is as powerful as it is simple. Today, you have saved lives. Now, you didn't do it alone, and this year we've been honored to have significant corporate support on the ride. So please thank the following sponsors. At the gold sponsor level, EMD Serrano, and at the silver sponsor level, Think Design and V Pharmaceuticals. It is now my great honor to introduce the CEO of Housing Works and rider number 2, Charles King.
There we go. So, all I got to say is that some of y'all might want to think about starting your training a little bit earlier. Just saying. I also want to commend Eric and the crew for a beautiful new route that we inaugurated today. It was so scenic and beautiful, it made us feel almost okay about giving up climbing through that pass just south of Ellenville. I will warn you, Eric, however, that there are a few people hoping to catch you in the dark this evening for that last climb in Washington Heights. I heard people using words like gratuitous, but we won't go there.
It's because I love you, Charles.
So, we're almost 2 years into the COVID pandemic. And one of the things about plagues is that they have the ability to bring out the worst in humanity. Now, those of us who've been in the AIDS fight for a long time recognized this decades ago, What I find interesting is the same people who celebrated our deaths because God hates fags are the folk who today are fighting mask mandates, discouraging people from getting vaccinated, doing everything they can, including encouraging people to take an animal dewormer as a prevention device, doing everything they can, and I'm talking about elected officials, I'm talking about conservative news media, to support a COVID pandemic. Why? Because they hope it will bring down a Democratic administration and allow them to reinstitute a white supremacist in the White House. And so what we've seen around us is a rise in racism, increased attacks on women's right to choose, laws that are intended to make transgender people invisible, trying to prevent even folk who fought with us in a senseless 20-year war from being able to immigrate to the United States. For those of us who are living with HIV, this isn't just one epidemic. For us, it's a syndemic because we're grappling with probably at least 4 plagues. People living with HIV who contract COVID are far more likely than the general population to end up in the hospital, and they're far more likely to die. And that's just the fact. Not only that, but I told y'all this morning about how the COVID pandemic has set back our efforts to end AIDS as an epidemic here in New York and around the globe. There's also the plague of overdose death that gets mingled into this. During the year of the pandemic, overdose deaths in the United States increased by over 30%. And then lastly, the plague of homelessness. We have more homeless people across this country than ever before in our history. But its plagues have the ability to bring out the worst of our humanity. They also have the ability to bring out the very best. And we saw that also early in the AIDS epidemic. And I'm not just talking about doctors, nurses, hospital workers, heroic as they have been. I'm talking about ordinary people who take it on themselves to rise up and do something to change the circumstances we're living in. I'm talking about people like you, people who do it with such love and compassion that you really do make change happen. And it's because of you all and other people like you that I truly believe we are going to see an end to HIV in the very near future here in New York State. I truly believe, notwithstanding the efforts of the right, we are going to see an end to COVID. I truly believe we can come to a place where we remove the stigma and shame from drug use such that people don't have to risk their lives when they purchase the drugs that they're going to consume, and where everyone has access to treatment that leaves them whole. I believe we're going to see a day when right here in New York, as I told you this morning, we end homelessness. And all of that is because of people like you who have the courage, the commitment, the love, and the compassion to rise up and make change happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles. Since 1980, over 100,000 people in New York City have died from AIDS. Though they are gone, we rejoice in their memory and we hold them dear to our hearts. Let us take a moment in silence to honor their lives. At this time, I'd like to invite Charles King back up to the landing and welcome rider Mika DeRue, rider and board member Gia Golden, and crew member and proud Housing Works client Eric Bartley.
We are so excited to be back on the road again this year. We have raised a lot of awareness about AIDS today.
We've also raised a lot of money for Housing Works to further their AIDS services.
It is our pleasure, on behalf of the riders and the crew of the Breaking AIDS Ride, to deliver this check to you for the net proceeds of the event. Charles, we hope you'll accept this check for $203,000. $172,000. No, thank you.
Speaking of fundraising, at this time, I'd like to invite a very special team to the stage. Can I ask all of the Flying Goats to come up here for a moment? You can bring your bike. Okay, all here? Looking good. Since 2010, the Flying Goats have raised more money than any other team on this ride to fight the AIDS epidemic. In fact, as of this year, they have raised more than $1.5 million. Housing Works would like to thank you for your extraordinary support and also to commemorate you with this photo and plaque that we will hang in our newest clinic, which is opening later this year. And thank you for your help. I think I can do this. Okay, and now I'd like to invite rider number 141, Maria Calva, to share a word with you about the 2023 run.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. I didn't know I was going to get a script, so I had a little something planned myself. So I'm going to go a little bit off script. But I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. If my kids were here, they'd be taking bets right now on how soon I would cry. I'm thinking I might get through it, so we'll see. But I really appreciate all the support that all of you have provided, from riders to crew to everybody who's here tonight. But that involvement is critical. We really want to have you guys consider joining us in the ride next year. 2021 just wrapped up. The 2022 we're already talking about. So all of you have a part. Charles touched on the idea that change happens. But change doesn't just happen, we have to make it happen. And this is something that we can do to be a part of positive change. We live in a world right now where there is a lot of negativity, a lot of division. And this, what happens today, all of the emotions leading up, right? There's fear, there's terror, there's anxiety, but all of that gets washed away by joy. When you cross that finish line and all the stories that we hear throughout the ride, it's just something so incredibly special to be a part of. And my brother Dan has kind of got me involved, and he would come home and tell me all these crazy 300-mile rides he did. And I was like, I can't do that. And I want to tell you, forgive me, I'm a small town girl from Wisconsin. I like beer, I like cheese curds, I like brats, right? If I can do it, you can do it. You just start getting on your bike and pedal and ride. So we have some registrations that we have here tonight. So before you leave, we want you guys to consider signing up for the ride again next year. Thanks everybody, love you all.
And she didn't cry. Next, I would like to bring up our beloved crew member, Charles Lujet.
Can you hear me now? September 9th through the 11th is next year, 2022. My name is Charles Lujet, and I'm a grateful member. Oh, different program. I am the lunch maven for the 3rd year in a row. Serving up lunch, sass, and realism. And for those that don't know me, I'm one of the other Charleses. Wow. Y'all are a pretty group of people. I love it. I just want to, y'all gonna get me to cry now. Turn to your neighbor and just look in their eyes for just a second and connect. Because that's what today has been for me, is just really connecting with people. Riding up in the crew van on Saturday, I asked consent, and then I was rubbing on the shoulders of one of my fellow crew members. And I was like, you know, it has been almost 2 years since I've touched another person spiritually this way on a ride like this. It's very, very heartwarming. So my story is 2008, HIV negative gay man living in San Francisco. And within a matter of 3 days, I had 5 different encounters of people telling me I need to do the AIDS life cycle. So I rode that first year in 2009, and then in 2010, and then 2011, and then I've been a crew member since. I've joined the Positive Peddlers, which is an international group of HIV cyclists and HIV negative folk that eliminate the stigma through our positive public example. And I served as the board president for 4 years. And through the outreach of that organization, friends said, come to do the Breaking AIDS ride. And that's what I did. And I was instantly welcomed into this family. And it is absolutely amazing. I live in Florida now, and I came up just to be with y'all because this means a lot to me, being in person and not just virtually. So I've already started getting my lunch crew together for next year, September 9th through the 11th, 2022. I've done the Smart Ride, which is Miami to Key West. It's a 2-day ride, and I crewed this one. And you know, the light in this community is because of you all. And when we looked at each other and we can see that connection, that's what it is about. You know, boy, girl, straight, gay, in between, fluid, binary, non-binary, however we identify ourselves or don't identify ourselves, that's what makes this an amazing collective. And we seriously kick butt. Y'all thought I was gonna say yes, but I'm not gonna. I'm so blessed to be in the company of so many incredible angels. I really, really am. That's all I have to say, but I'm just so glad to be here and to see y'all looking at me like I'm something special. I love you all. Thank you for bringing me into y'all's heart. And, you know, sign up, come next year, okay? Because I'll be at lunch and I'll be serving sass and realness.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Maria. Okay, I am so excited about this. Down in the pavilion across the street, we have registration forms for a full-on 3-day Breaking AIDS ride from Cooperstown to New York City. Will you join Maria and Charles and me? So in just a moment, I'll be heading over to the pavilion right across Riverside Drive, right by your gear, where you can fill out that form and sign up to be part of this amazing experience. So let's get to it. Thank you all for coming out this evening, and as Fogo Azul drums us out, let's end with a huge round of applause for all of our riders and crew. Thanks, good night.